everybody. I hope that you are having a fabulous day today. I'm so excited to be here with you. And we are talking inspiration. So I'd love to know in the chat, where do you get your inspiration from? And hi, Shiomara. Hi, Sue. I hope that you are doing well. I think for me, I have a lot of like random pictures on my phone because I kind of look at everything. I look at everything around me. And maybe it's just kind of like that science vibe that I have, but I look at everything around me and I'm like, oh, that would be great. Or I look at a sunrise or a sunset or the specific color of a flower. And so, but that's where I kind of draw my inspiration from, is I really start to look around me. A little bit of it is from a stamp set, but a lot of it is from, I love beautiful blends. And so when I look at a sunrise or a sunset or even a rainbow, I'm like, how can I take those colors and turn that into a beautiful background? And that's what we're going to be doing today. Is I'm going to be sharing some photos with you that I have on my phone. And then I'm going to be taking those and creating these backgrounds. And I actually have 3 different ways I want to create a background today. So this is like super, super technique packed as well. And hi, Sue. I am doing well, Sue. Today was the first day of school. So, so excited. And I would love to know if you had any littles that had gone off and started school, how their year was. It was okay. It was a little, there was a little bit things that need to change, but it was totally working. And I see Cece and hot Sweden. Oh my gosh, Cece, I can't even believe it. Of course, what is hot for you up there? I really, really would love to visit Sweden and to see those northern lights, because those would be a gorgeous, I would be so inspired by that, to see that background. And I see Shiomara is here. And oh my gosh, Tracy and Nancy is here and has his own. So, but Sue, still, right? You have a grandchild there who started, almost going to be starting school. They have another year to go. So that's exciting. So I wanted to share. So I was on, I did a little vacation, and one of the restaurants, and we have Bernadette behind the badge. Hello. And if you share this live while we're live, you will be entered to win a gift card to Altenew. And I have some really kind of cool goodies that we're using today that if you don't have, yeah, that is hot for September, 25 to 30. Wow, that is hot. Oof. All right. And I saw Tracy, you said that you had a grandson who is off to school. Yep, your grandson is back to school. I hope that he had a great day. And Dorothy is here. Hi, Dorothy. So we are talking, we're talking inspiration. And that's the name of the show, is Amy's Inspiration Station. So that's what I'm going to share with you. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and point my camera down because, again, I got quite a bit of stuff to do. I always kind of jam-pack these. Bernadette, let's face it, I really need an hour and a half, right? I think everybody would be okay with that if I kind of took an hour and a half. Right, everybody? Oh, that's great, Tracy. Thanks you so much for sharing this. And you will be entered to win a gift card, and we will be... Bernadette will be announcing that winner at the end of our show. So I'm going to see if this comes out. This is my first time kind of trying this. And so I was in a restaurant and I saw this panel. It was actually a French bistro. And I saw this panel, and I know pictures, it never quite, shares right. But I was just like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. You have this gorgeous, soft, like suede brown background. And then you have this beautiful, delicate silhouette of these birds and these flowers. And I was just really inspired by this. And I'm like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a card out of this. And that's what we're going to do today. So I took this picture as inspiration, and I want to kind of play around with what we're going to do with it. And Helena, thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Sue, for sharing this. And Tracy, 11th grade, junior year. That's a big one. That's a super duper big one. And yes, please share this live while we're live. You'll be entered to win a gift card. All right. So what I'm going to do first is I have 3 ways that I want to recreate that background. So the first way that I want to do it is straight, just like the picture. So where you have this gorgeous brown background. And so I'm using, I think this is Coffee Break. I have not labeled these, but I think that's Coffee Break. These are gorgeous browns. So I thought, and these are very warm versus being cool. And I thought that this would recreate it perfectly. I'm going to pair that up with leaf clusters because I thought that those would go really nice. Then I'm going to create a background just using graduations of washi tape. And I know I pulled this out for I think my last live, but I can't, I love them all. So I have to go ahead and get that one. And then my third background, we're actually going to use watercolor pencils. And we're going to do a nice soft background with those. And I have a little bit of water that my cats haven't drank yet. And we're going to go ahead and go those. And then I'm going to use these for those. So we have a couple of different things going on. So as we go along. So I'd love to know. So we're talking inspiration today. So I would love to know where you get your inspiration. And is it around you? Do you have to like look at a stamp set? Do you, Altenew has some fabulous places for inspiration, and in their classes, gosh, Bernadette, we have so much, right? We have classes, and then the inspiration page, the Facebook, all of the design team members, everything, they just do an amazing job. All right. So when I blend a background, and I know I'm going to be doing a silhouette stamping on it, I typically like to stamp first, and then I do an emboss resist. And because I'm using white paper, you could actually use clear embossing powder. And what this will do is it will save the white that's here. And that's the great part of it. Or you can just go ahead and use pure white. And using the white is going to be a little bit whiter than if you're using the clear. So if you end up using the clear, a little bit of that brown or whatever color you're putting over it, you're going to see, and it's going to mute it a little bit. This is going to be bright, 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 and this will stay nice and bright. So I'm actually going to start with the clear because when I look at that inspiration picture, those are muted. I'm going to hold this a little bit up to my camera. Can you see how pretty that is? So that's what I'm going for, is just this really beautiful suede-like background. And then you have these beautiful florals here as well. And we have Melly. Oh my gosh, I agree with you though, Bernadette. You go strolling with your camera at sunset. It's like that magic hour, right? That's at 4 to 6 o'clock is you have that magic hour. And during magic hour is exactly when you can get that very special light and everything just looks amazing in it. All right. Now, when I'm doing a blend like this, I'm actually going to use Bristol cardstock, and Bristol cardstock is just a little bit smoother. And so it's going to be able to take what I'm doing with it a little bit better. All right, I'm going to put this here, but then I'm actually going to pull this guide. And the reason why I'm going to pull the guide is because actually, I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to pull my guide, and I'm going to go ahead, and I'm just going to put this right up at the top of my stamp wheel. And the reason why I'm doing that is I want to have space because I don't want my leaf cluster stamps to go all the way up. All right. So this is a great set. It's a nice, it's a good set. I want to use the word basic, but it is just a really useful set. And I like it because it has some larger clusters and also some smaller ones. And again, we're talking inspiration today, and I love seeing where you guys are getting inspiration. And I saw, Sue, that you like to lives. I'm glad you're here with us here today. And watercolor, yes, color inspires you, Tracy. I agree. Color sometimes it's like, that's the thing. I like to look at a sunset and I'm like, oh my gosh, what the heck? What colors would that be? I play like a little game like that. Like, oh, what colors would those be? What would it look like? And then I try to figure that out. So I'm just kind of pasting these up, thinking about where they go. I don't want to crowd it too much, but I do want to make sure that I have, and we have a little visitor. That's Astro. He has to come in, make sure I'm okay. What's going on? All right, and this is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to switch this over. And I love placing these around, and I'm just going to grab this one. I think I just want to go right down here with it. Yeah, this one's a little bit leafier. Those are all very similar. I'm going to switch this out because this one's a little bit of a broader leaf. And then I'll see if I can stick this guy right here. All right. You can always go in and restamp, add things if you want to put in like other pieces, but I'm going to go ahead and do that. And again, if you share this live while we're live, you'll be entered to win a gift card. We have Bernadette behind the badge. Hello, Bernadette. I hope that you are doing well today and you're having a fabulous day. And this is a really great, I was trying to pull some mini delight sets, but the mini delight sets are great for this type of a thing because they are little small but mighty sets. And there's always beautiful flowers or butterflies or something like that along the way. All right, so just again to show you the inspiration picture. Oh, hello, Charlotte from Denmark. I hope you are doing well. This is what we're going for. So again, where do you draw that inspiration from? Is it around you? Is it color? Do you have like weird pictures on your phone that you have on there and you're just like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. So I started, you saw, so I'm using Bristol cardstock because it's a little bit smoother. And I am just taking the clear embossing powder and I'm just going to add this right on. And then I'm just going to stamp this. And I'm choosing to use clear embossing powder versus white, because I don't want this to be super bright when I do the resist, but I want it to be a little bit more muted because of my inspiration picture. But white, like if you did the pure white, I think it also would look absolutely gorgeous. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and stamp this. And I didn't pull a set that has like a butterfly or anything, but you could absolutely do that because there was a couple of other images up there. So. Oh, Joanne, I'm so glad. Thank you so much for sharing this. And you too can be like Joanne, and you can be entered to win a gift card. So let them know. And we're talking inspiration today. So where is it that you get your inspiration from? Okay, I'm very carefully lifting this up. I hope that did a good job. It looked like it did a good job. Okay, so I apologize that I'm about to put some clear embossing on this on a white piece of paper. And you guys are going to be like, that's great, Amy. I trust you. There's something there, but we're not really going to be able to see it until I start inking it up. And so I'm going to be using the coffee break set, and it's a beautiful warm set of browns. And I like that versus kind of cool browns that have a little bit more gray in them. I like the fact that these are a little bit warmer. Okay, so we got that. Let me put these in. And I'm going to go ahead and heat emboss this. And then I'm going to make a decision. I might add a couple more. I'm going to see what else I got going on. But let's see how this comes out. All right, so while I'm doing this, and I know you guys are like, this is great, I can't see much, go ahead and talk amongst yourselves of what inspires you. So what is it? How do you get your inspiration when you want to sit down and craft? Do you ever get stuck sometimes? That's another great question. And again, I'm using Bristol cardstock because I'm going to be doing some blending on this. And this is because I'm going to be covering such a large swath. This is where the large blending tool comes into play. And that large blending tool is absolutely fabulous. And I agree, Tracy, everything needs a butterfly. I unfortunately didn't pull one, but I have a couple of things up my sleeve for making some stamps. We're actually going to be making some stamps from dies soon. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a block, and I just want to add a couple of other little doodads and guys now that I have this. I love this one because he's a little tiny guy, so you can kind of move him in a lot of places. He can fit in. He can fit in a couple of places here. So I'm just going to add him in right there. There's one. And add him in right here. Little upside down business. And I'm going to do the same thing right here and right here. And again, I apologize. I know you guys are looking at this going, Amy, it's white paper. Good job. Don't worry. I promise there's something there. I promise. And I'm just going to extend this little guy up just a little bit more. So I'm just layering those stamps on top of each other. And then as soon as I put that brown on, you'll be able to see. All right, so I'm going to use the clear embossing powder again, just to add in what I have. And that's just a great technique of looking at those tiny stamps. So in this case, what I did is I used the larger stamps as a base. And who had said, Sue, this is such a wonderful large leaf cluster. I absolutely agree. And it's great to have something like this in your stash because it's a wonderful go-to for this, especially this type of a technique. And I love these cards because they do come together quickly and it's such an elegant design. And I think it's one of those things that just makes a powerful impact. And that's what really struck me when I walked by that panel was that. Is there a trick to painting when you can't see the embossing powder? You can kind of see it if you get really stuck and you're using, clear wouldn't work, but if I had used white, I could actually stamp this with any pigment. I could actually stamp this with any pigment ink, and then you would be able to see it. And that way you can definitely take a look. So on that one. All right. Okay. Tracy, you can hear me, right? I'm just trying to look at your comment there. Oh, I have another visitor. Hello, visitor. All right, so I'm going to grab my large, blending brush. Now this one, you're like, Amy, that's pink. I actually don't have one that is brown because it's not a color I use very often, but I just have some scrap paper and I'm just double checking, and I'm using pink because pink is warm. And so even if this brown gets a little bit of a pink tint into it, it's totally fine. All right, so I'm just kind of getting rid of that. And if you're really, really stuck in embossing cloth with a little bit of water, can take the rest of that off. Excuse me, Sadie. Thank you. All right, cats. This is dinner time for the cats. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you, Tracy. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful, Helena. Cards inspire the jewelry you make. Oh, that's wonderful. I like that too, because that inspiration, it's creating, right? So whether it's creating a card or creating a beautiful piece of jewelry, it's still creating. And I think that's the important part. All right, so I'm going to share my inspiration photo again. So this is kind of what we're going after. And again, I'm using Coffee Break set. So this is the set. And I'm going to start out with sand dunes here. And now you'll be able to kind of see where I'm headed to. Now I'm using the sticky mat. This is not the very tacky one. This is the low tack one. I did clean it before I came here, and it just gives it a little bit of a place. I'm still going to use my hands and probably get ink all over myself. I feel like if I'm wearing ink out in public, though, it's like a badge of honor, right? If I have ink all over my hands, I wear it as a badge of honor. Oh, and A2 panels. Oh, that's a great idea, Carrie. So you're cleaning your blending brushes on A2 panels, and then those are a start of a background because that's going to be very light. Yeah, that's a nice idea. All right, so I'm going to get this sand dunes all over this back, and it's going to have a nice background, a nice start to everything. And then we're going to layer the colors on top. And the color here was suede. So normally I love to do backgrounds that are ombre, where I go from a light to a dark. But in this case, it's a little bit of suede. And so we're going to have sections that are a little bit dark and sections that are a little bit lighter. So by starting the entire panel light, then I'm just going to add color in certain sections. And that's the way I'm going to do it. Oh, Barbara's here. Hi, Barbara. So Barbara, we are talking inspiration and where it is that you get your inspiration from. If you're able to look back at the comments, people had some fabulous ideas from watching others, walking around kind of at sunset at that golden hour time, to looking and sharing with others, looking at different colorways, and even the sets that you use. Jewelry. I actually sometimes will draw inspiration from patterns like on shirts. I did that one time. This lady, I was out with my children eating some nice ice cream, as we do up here in New England, and it was this lady had on a really nice shirt. I'm like, oh, I kind of like her shirt. And I went home and I created a background with it. I thought that was kind of cool. It's like this beautiful floral with blue and desserts, clothes, flowers. Yeah. Right, Carrie? Again, I think it's a badge of honor. All right. So this is Rocky Shore. Now, again, I have this all over with sand dunes. And obviously, I want to add more color near the white. So this will really pop out because you can kind of barely see what's going on down here right now. But I want to just come in from some different angles. So you notice I'm turning my paper. And this is really kind of a take a look, take a step back, and be mindful that you want to keep some areas a little bit lighter. So I'm just going to add from this corner, but I'm not touching this corner that my hand is on because I want to keep that a little bit lighter. So you can see this is starting to develop. And I feel like sometimes blending is really an art. Well, I guess card making is an art, but blending really is because it's a matter of trial and error, and you just kind of have to step back and take a look and see what the heck is going on. Oh my, Barbara, thank you so much for sharing this twice. I appreciate it. And you too can be like Barbara, where you can be entered to win a gift card to Altenew, and you can pick up some of the lovely inks. These do blend really super well. So it's really nice to work with them. And then, of course, these brushes are just absolutely fabulous. All right, so you can see now I'm getting a little bit darker. And I'm going to come right up in the top here. Trying to avoid that corner, but I want to come in and then I want to keep this one as light as possible. Now I can also switch to a smaller size brush. So, oh, freeze drying ice cream and ice cream. Oh, wow, Carrie. Is she getting them though? Is she getting the ice cream sandwiches out in the Middle East? She must be like, so what a nice mom to do that. That's such a great idea. That's awesome. What a great idea to do that. Little treat of home. And Michigan, are you guys like us in New England where like ice cream is a way of life? We'll have ice cream, even if it's like super, super cold out, we will be having some ice cream. Have to have it. All right, so now I'm coming in with my darkest shade. I'm going to start up here at the bottom. And this is really going to start to make that white pop. And now you can kind of see where we're heading to. Now, again, I want to be a little suede-y. So I'm just trying to put this into some sections. I don't need this to be espresso all over, but you can see how beautiful that tone is. All right. And thank you so much, Bernadette, for reminding us to share this out, and you will be entered to win a gift card to Altenew. All right, I'm going to come in from this corner. And again, this is just where I'm looking to see where I can add a little bit more. I'm going to go right in the middle, keeping some of these sections a little bit light. Okay, and I actually like, I know I have a little bit of a distress down here, but I'm kind of liking that. All right, I'm going to go right up in the middle and just kind of go right along that section that I made. And I think I'm almost there. And I can add a little bit of more dark, and that is going to help create, even though if my sections are a little bit darker, it's going to help create them a little bit light. Now you'll notice that I just did those couple of things where I didn't tap off my blending tool and it's looking like, Amy, that's not blended super great. That's because I'm looking for that suede quality. I want areas that are darker. I want areas that are lighter, and I want areas that are a little imperfect. And that's what's going to get me those. Is just leaving those and trying not to blend them in super well. And that's going to get me that section. All right, so I'm going to leave this. I think that's looking pretty nice. I love it right now. So again, inspiration picture. So that is our inspiration picture. And then I'm kind of creating this card from it. And I think that's pretty close. I'm loving that right now where it is. And I want to point out again where, because I used the clear embossing powder, the embossing is not bright white. And that was my goal. If you wanted that embossing to be bright white, then go with the pure white embossing powder. from Altenew because this will keep it being white. Because I use clear, it's going to be a little bit of a tinge to it. All right, so let's get this onto a card. So that's what's nice, like I said, about these is it's really quick. They come along really quick. Now, I'm actually going to cut this down quite a bit. I'm going to cut it down more from the top to the bottom, and I'm going to cut off the sides quite a bit. And I want a nice big white frame around this. So this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to start at cutting it down to 3 3/4 and see if I love it. And if I don't, I'm going to cut it down a little bit more. So I'm just looking for the edges of this. All right, I'm going to do just a little bit more. So I'm going to do another 1/4 inch on each side. And the reason why I'm doing this on each side is because I just want it to be even. So I even that out. This will make sense in a moment. All right. So I really like that. I got to tell you, I think I want to do it. I was going to cut the top and make it even, but I think I'm loving this. So I'm going to keep it like this right here. So I'm going to cut that. So this is 5 1/2. I'm going to start at 5, and then I'm going to cut it and see how I love it, if I love it or not. I'm going to cut it another 1/4 inch. So this is now at 4 3/4. So now I have this panel. All right. Yes. Now I love it. Okay. So I'm going to grab a sentiment. The other thing I like about leaf clusters is it really has these very nice sentiments. And I love the typeface of it. And you can stack them if you want to. So I'm going to do, excuse me, I'm going to do Miss You, My Friend. All right, so I'm going to put this, so I'm actually going to add this panel onto my card front. I'm not going to pop it up because I wanted to keep this nice and flat. So I'm just going to start this up. Thank you so much. Yes, you're so right, Tracy. And that's a nice thing that you can do. So if I was going to use colored cardstock, which you absolutely could, and that would get this to be quite a bit faster in terms of the blending, I would... I lost my adhesive and my adhesive just died. Oh boy. What I would do is by starting off with colored cardstock, then I am able to very quickly add up that blending. Okay, so let me just flip this over. So I'm just going to line this right up at the top. And that's going to go right there. And that would lay flat, but I have some adhesive problems. And then I'm just going to grab my stamp. Just going to put this right on my block. And I'm going to use some black ink, if I can find it, on the desk. I have to tell you guys, I'm so sorry, but the gnomes have attacked. And I'm not going to use black. I'm going to use this black. That's all I got. And I'm just going to put this right down. And what's nice about having the black is it's going to ground this, and I'm just going to put it right at the end. So it's a nice tight little thing. You can add some gems as well, but I'm just going to put this right down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So nice card. So that's first card. And that, again, is my inspiration. So again, you're pulling that inspiration from everywhere, but that's with a blended background. So I'm going to take that same inspiration photo, and I am going to now do a similar look, but I'm actually going to use washi tape. All right. So I'm going to put this over to the side. Let me clean up my little sections. And then we're going to move over to washi tape. How many of you guys have the washi tape or have washi tape in like a set like this? It's really nice. Very easy to use. And what we're going to do with it is I'm actually, you can stamp on this, which is really nice. And then I would use the pure white embossing powder. So actually you can do this 2 ways. All right. So this is the Seashore washi tape set. And I love these because it's graduated. So you have all of these beautiful colors that come in there. So I'm going to start with dark, and I'm just going to move right up to light. And I'm just going to cover my paper. That's it. This is so easy. You make a really, really pretty background just by adding in washing tape. So it's great. All right. There's a pink set as well. I wanted to get the pink set, but I did not grab it yet. Sometimes I have to wait for things to go on sale. Hint, hint. All right, so that's my darkest color. And then I'm going to do the next one up here. And I love adding these with white cutouts. But like I said, you can also stamp on these. I emboss on them. I do emboss white embossing powder on this. All right, so I'm just abutting that right next to it. And again, it's washi tape. If you make a mistake, you can go. Oh, Jerry, that's okay. You always can look back of it. Oh my gosh, no, you have to use it, Bernadette. But that way you can buy more. See, if you use it, then you can buy more. And that's the great part about it. And these are almost an inch wide, which is kind of nice. And I'm going up the 5-inch side or the 5.5-inch side of my paper. But again, I'm going to cut this down. And I love that about washi tape is like, I had a little extra white in there, so I can just peel it up and it doesn't hurt my paper. So that's the great thing about it. I know, Carrie, that's what you want to do is you need to pull these out. I like to keep stuff in front of me. I'm one of those people that needs to see it, so I know I have it. If I tuck things away, I never use it. So sometimes I have to like really be deliberate and say, okay, you know what? It's time to pull out washi tape. Let's try that. So I hope this inspires you to pull out some of your washi tape. And again, this is such a nice way to do it. You could also do this with alcohol inks. That's one thing you can do with your markers and just make a little background that way. If you're doing that, then I would just make sure it's dry before you add any embossing powder. But I wouldn't emboss first if I was using alcohol markers, because those do not play well. After the fact is good, but before the fact is not. Okay. I even like the white on top, right? That looks nice. White on top looks nice. All right. So again, that's the Seashore washi tape set. And it already gives this really gorgeous graduation of color. Okay. I'm going to pull this up. And that's it. I just bend it right over the side. Use a little bone folder. And I can come right over the edge. So cute, right? See, Bernadette, now you're going to pull these out. Now you're going to be like, yep, that is me. I will be pulling these out, right, Bernadette? And get those all over there. I even love the white with it. I think I'm going to steal the white. I'm going to keep that white. All right, you ready, Carrie? We're going to emboss on this sucker. That's what we're going to do next for you. Just for you, Carrie. So what I wanted to do with this, and I know it's a little nuts, and I wasn't going to, I wanted to use this guy and just make some white die cuts, but we're going to do this a little crazy. So I have this die set. It's called Itty Bitty Branches. And this is so cool because, again, you have itty bitty branches. And it's a nice set that has some really pretty flowers on top and also some branches. And so when I thought about that inspiration picture and I was looking through my stash, I'm like, this is actually would be really great. And what I can do with this, because you guys are like, Amy, what are you doing with this? I can actually create stamps with my dies. And that's what I'm going to be doing now, is I'm going to create stamps. And the way I do that is I use a piece of fun foam. And this is just a little half a sheet. And you can get fun foam at craft stores. I try to get a little bit of a thicker fun foam. But when I run this through my die cutting machine, this is going to kind of flop around anyway. So I can just grab these. And let me grab my, oh, hold on one second. Lost my plate. Okay, got my plate. Now I'm using my plate because I want to line up how big this thing needs to be, because I really can't. Oh, I can kind of throw this all the way in, actually. That's good to know. All right, so I'm going to just put this right on here. And I'm going to line up all of these branches, and this is how I'm going to create some stamps. And again, it's not, there's not going to be a lot of detail with this, which is why I'm not using things that are, really detailed. This is literally going to be the outline shapes, and that's why I'm kind of going with these ones. And this is way too many. See, I was doing too much again. This one I want to keep. This one I want to keep. This one I think I'm going to dump. This one I want. And this one I want. Okay, so I think, yep, that fits all on there. So we're good there. Put this guy on, and now I'm going to bring in my machine. Give me 1 second. Bernadette, I got to tell you, I'm doing really well on time today. Of course, I say that, and I'm going to need the extra 30 minutes, but I'm actually doing okay on time right now. I already made a card. That's pretty big for me. Okay, so this is going to go right through my machine. I promise it will go through. If my desk is cleaned off, it will go through. There we go. And I'm just going to run it right back. And that really is more because I can, because it's next to me, so I can kind of pull it. That's what that is. Right, Carrie? I know. It's one of those things. It's one of those things that you're like, oh, yeah, I used to do that, but I don't anymore. Why did I stop? Because we all have the things. We have so many things. But this is a great way to stretch your dies. And like I said, I just was looking for stamps that were going to go well. And this, I was like, you know what? I'll just make them out of dies. So a lot of things to do for today. A lot of stuff. All right. So I'm just going to pull these out. If I can. And of course, the more, I didn't need a shim, which is kind of nice. Maybe I did need a shim, but I don't think I needed a shim. And so as I pull these out, I'm kind of thinking about how I want to add them on, but I'm going to now emboss them with the pure white embossing powder. You do want to make sure, since this is a substrate I'm on, that I use the embossing bag, the cornstarch or corn powder, or whatever the heck it is. I use that really liberally, so that literally, thank you so much. Oh, wow, Sue, I hope you are doing well. No, I'm not jinxing it. I swear, Tracy, it's going to come out. I promise. It will come through. And it's okay if I miss stuff, because I'm only going to use just a small section. So again, we're going to use the same inspiration. So this is our first card that we made using an emboss resist technique. And this time we have a background that was made using washi tape. So this background was made using by blending along using the coffee break set. And this next one, what we did is we used washi tape. And I'm going to cut this down as well, even though I got all of these pieces in here. It does take a little bit to pull them out when you have little fiddly bits. But again, I'm not going to be using a lot of these. So there's one. Now I got one stamp. I definitely want some leaves. And I think it's probably was a wise idea that I did quite a few, just in case if they did or didn't come out of this. And of course, I can use a shim, and the shim would help this to cut through a little bit more freely. And also then I can kind of pull them out. But I'm only going to pull out a couple because I don't want to sit here for 20 minutes trying to extract these. And I really only need the tops. I don't really need all of it, but you really just need the tops of it. But I'm so glad, Carrie, this is reminding you of an oldie but a goodie technique. So that's what we got here today. And again, if you share this live while we're live, and we have about just under 20 minutes to go, If you share this live while we're live, you'll be entered to win. And we have Bernadette behind the badge. Thank you, Bernadette, who's going to, right after this live, pull out her washi tape and make a card with it, Bernadette. We're challenging you today. Make a background with your washi tape. But I agree with you. Sometimes it is so pretty. It is hard to use, especially some of them are really, really super nice. All right. I think I want this one, and then I will move on, guys. I'm just going to grab this one here. There we go. And again, it's not like using an acrylic stamp. It's not like using the polyacrylamide, okay? These will make a nice image, but they're not going to be as crisp and clear as using an actual polyacrylamide stamp. It's just not, it's fun foam. It is not polyacrylamide. All right, so I'm just kind of knocking the middles out. I don't even know if that's going to make a difference, to be perfectly honest, but I'll go for it. Okay. All right. So I grabbed 3. I know I die cut 6, but I grabbed 3. And I'm going to take my background and I'm going to go ahead and add these on. Now, if you're like, how are you going to stamp these? What you can do is I can actually tape them to a stamp block, or I can tape them to my stamp wheel. So I can do it all at one time. But in order to tape them, I need tape. So that's what I am getting out here. In fact, hey, now you get the chance to see me refill a tape on a live. So your tape is out. All you have to do is pop the next one in, and easy breezy, that is done. There you go. Now it's ready to rock and roll. These are fabulous, by the way. Love them. All right, so I'm just going to grab this, and there doesn't have to be like a right way or a wrong way. And this is a little bit fiddly, but I'm just going to add just a little bit of tape to it on this side, a little here, and a little here. We're not going to worry about the bottom half of it. I'm just going to do that half. Okay, there we go. Now it's a stamp. Done. All right. I'll take, yes. Yeah, Carrie, I know all the fun foam that you probably still have, and you're like, oh, what the heck am I doing with this stuff? I don't know. And I have to tell you, because I can't find my other stamp, guys, I'm just going to use the back side of my stamp. And that is going to go right there. Okay, and then I'll find a guy for this. Oh, there we go. Got another guy. So good, Bernadette. I'm glad you're taking that challenge. It's good. And I hope that the rest of you guys are inspired to take a look at your washi tape again and think about how you can use that. What would you do with that washi tape? What the heck would you do with it? Okay, now we got it. All right, so we got our 3 things. Here is our stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp on this. So the first thing when you're stamping on something like this, oh yeah, that's beautiful. Add a die cut with the crafted flower set here behind the layers. So pretty. And that's something, if you, like, I could actually cut these out, and that's what I was going to use with the other one, is I can actually cut these out, and I could have layered the die cuts. In fact, that was my original idea, but some of you guys had inspired me while I was doing this, and so therefore I am trying this method, which was going to go in my 3rd card, but now we're on my 2nd card with it. And I lost my embossing ink. All right, so you saw I prepped that really, really super well. And again, I want to add these on. Some are going to be a little bit taller. Some are going to be a little bit smaller. And I'm just going to get this coated really, really super well with that embossing ink. And I'm going to use the pure white embossing powder this time. Oh, yes. Cut sentiments out of washi. Oh, no, Kathy, it is not rude to ask for your washi tape back. I think it is just what you should do, because you're like, now I need to use it. I'm inspired to use it in a different way. So I think that's totally fine. Right, guys? Don't you agree? All right, so I'm just going to curl this up a little bit taller, just up here. And you can kind of see that. Maybe you can. Again, I apologize. I know you guys are looking at it. You're like, oh, I can see so much. It looks so different, Amy. Good job. It really is, I promise. All right, this one's nice and tall, so I'm going to go ahead and just stick this sucker right there. Oh, that was a lot. I don't know if I can fit my other guy, but we're going to make it work. Okay, and then here's my other little guy. I'm just going to put her right here. And I'm just going to put another little one right here. Okay. All right, now, so we got stamps. Cover this, my ink, or else it doesn't get crud on it. And now I'm going to add my white embossing powder. And again, some from that same, all from that same inspiration picture. We're getting 3 totally different looks, which I think is kind of neat. And that's why I love to talk about inspiration. I like to get and hear other people's ideas of where they get inspiration from too, because sometimes that inspires me. All right. And again, we're not talking, this isn't going to be, you know, super clear, but it does a really, really super nice job. Now, when you're embossing this, because you're embossing it on the washi, all right, Bernadette, listen up. If you end up trying this, be careful. So you don't want to keep that heat on too long, but so you want to move around your gun very, very quickly. All right, here we go. But so pretty. So pretty. And I'm going to cut this down again just to, and then I want to actually pop this panel up. So. Oh, you got to try it, Sue. You really do. Oh, I totally do that, Tracy. I think about card ideas. That's why I have a notebook. I gotta have that notebook. And I, when I wake up or if I'm around, or again, if I'm just kind of like walking around, I think about that and I jot it down in my notebook. You know, try this. So pretty. And again, I didn't have the stamp set I wanted, but I had the die set I wanted. And so I can use that with the fun foam to make stamps. And it's a really, really cool way to stretch this. And again, I like how it's just too wide for me on this, but it is kind of a cool thing. So, oh yeah, that's right, Carrie. And the blog and website and every place in Altenew has so many ideas. Okay, so we're going to grab a piece of paper and I'm going to chop this down. Now, each of these are an inch. And so since I'm keeping the white band, and I wasn't going to keep the white band, but I really love it with the white band, because I think if I took the white band off, I don't know, I think I feel like it needs a little bit of white on there. So I'm going to take this and I want this to be an inch. And so I'm just going to grab, this is all dry. So I'm just going to go right here at the edge of where my white band is. Can you see that? And it says 1.5. And I'm just going to move this down to 1. And now my white band will be the same size as the rest of my washi tape. I hope. Why does that not look right? Oh, I don't trust my math. I don't trust my machine. I do trust a ruler. It did not look right. I don't like it. That's an inch. Ah, cheating on me. I had a pencil somewhere. On a completely another note, I had to buy new pencils for school and I found these pastel ones. Aren't they adorable? Okay, so this is where I am going to cut because I did not trust my machine. Don't you think so, Kathy? I think it like balances it out. I really like it. And I could have just gone from this way, but my math does not work well. Okay, there we go. All right, there we go. Love that white. And again, so now that white is evil. I know, Nancy, I just figured that around, that I could have turned it around. But then I would have had to, like, you know, do math with fractions, and that just doesn't happen in my world. I can do the metric system, but fractions don't work too well. All right, so now I'm going to cut this sideways because, again, it's just a little too wide in my opinion. So I want to cut this down just a little bit. Oh, I don't think so, Tracy. I think my machine gets a lot of talking around it. Okay, so there's 1/4 of an inch. And there's another 1/4 inch. And then I'm just going to see how that looks on my card front. Ooh, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Yeah, I'm going to leave it right like that. I'm not going to put it up, although that looks really nice. I think I'm going to keep it the same way, but I like how wide that is. And it's just a little bit. Exactly, Nancy. Just a little. Kathy, they were at Staples. I had to take the kids back to school shopping, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is that pastel? Dixon Ticonderoga? Yes, please, because I love them. All right, so I'm going to pop this panel up just to give it a little bit of depth. So I'm going to grab the Altenew Instant Dimension foam tape and a nice pair of scissors. And I cannot find my Altenew scissors, probably because I use them. Because I use them a lot. And I'm going to use the same sentiment from the Leaf Clusters stamp set, really just because I have it out and I didn't grab another sentiment. But oh, I love this color. All right, so next, and I have totally enough time to make one more card for you guys, but I need a colorway. So I have brown, I did teal. What do you guys think? Should I do purple? Should I do pink? Should I do green? What colorway should I use next? Coming up. Yep, Sue, it's coming out, the foam tape. I want to say, though, that is still my first roll. I'm still on my first roll of Instant Dimension foam tape. I don't know if that means because that the rolls are just so big or because I do use it quite a bit, but I definitely like flatter cards, especially with the U.S. Postal System deciding at random times to increase postage in the United States. All right, I got green, pink, purple. Oh no, you guys are being terrible. I'm getting everybody giving me a different colorway. No, you can't. You have to agree. You all have to agree. All right, I'm loving that. That looks so nice. All right, I'm going to grab Stay Awesome. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. And I got to pull my little guys off my block. Sometimes I leave these guys on my block for a little while. And then I use them. Or you can take them and just stick them with, your stuff. And use them over and over again, the little foam guys. Eventually they kind of wear out, but they're really great to have. Okay, Sue, I will have to do it. And Avi is here. Is that Avril? All right. Oh, Stay Awesome. Don't do that upside down. And again, this would be cute with a couple of gems. I didn't grab any, but so cute with a couple of gems. Okay. So again, thinking about that inspiration picture, and now we have these really two cute cards, but two different ways to do background. So we have a blended background with that coffee, and then we also have, now we have a washi tape. And again, I used the Seashore washi tape set, which has 4 tapes, but I ended up with a white on the top. And that, I think, balances out all the white on the bottom. Yes, Avril, so excited that you're here. I hope the baby's doing great. All right, so I got one more to go. I am going to do a quick little background. Now, I do have a piece of watercolor paper, and the reason why I'm using the watercolor pencils is because I can quickly get down a lot of color, and I think I want to go, oh, guys, what do I want to do? I think I want to go, I really, really love the idea, CC, of orange. But I think I'm going to go green. I feel like I haven't done green. The other one I was like, I don't know. Should I do purple? But I think I'm going to go with green. I'm going to add a little bit of the teal here. I'm going to go with green. All right. So I'm just pulling out some greens from here. So what do I have? I have Limeade. I have Shadow Creek. I have Grassfield. And I have Mountain Mist. And I know I have the old set because somebody told me that there's now a newer set of watercolor pencils and I have the old one. But anything that you want, I'm just grabbing a couple of colors. All right. Now, all I have to do with this, which makes it nice, I'm going to start with my darker one. And I'm just going to add, I'm just doing like a rubbing. That's all I'm doing. I'm just adding some color. And when I add the water in, this will now make that blend really easily. And that's why it's so easy. That's honestly why I chose these, is because they're so easy to use. And I want to point out, and I never make 3 cards. I always have it on the docket. But if you've watched my shows before, I'm always like, oh, I'm going to make 3 cards, everybody. And I'm lucky to get 1 out. No, I'm really making 3. I know I got 3 minutes. I got 3 minutes, but I'm making 3. All right, and I'm adding just a little bit of this teal in just to kind of balance it through. I could add blue up there too, or yellow, but I'm going to do that. The watercolor brush markers would be fabulous as well here, but the reason why I didn't use them is they are so highly pigmented that a little goes a long way. And this is so fast and easy. So I'm just going to take my brush and I'm just going to add water. This feels like, remember those paint by numbers, but the paint was there and all you had to do was add water to color them in? That's what this feels like. It's so fast and easy. Now, what I would do with these is I have another set where I would actually do white die cuts and use the white die cuts for this. And now you can see it's getting into that yellow. Putting on a little bit too much water, but that's okay. And now we're going to get into that pretty blue. And so easy to do. And again, I know I'm going to be cutting off the side, so I don't care about going over to it. And I'm going to go up a little bit higher. But I have just these bands. So I know, right? We're going. Yes. These are so easy to use. And the watercolor pencils for me, I don't always pull them out enough, but I really, really need to. They're so nice. Now I actually can add more color on if I want to. I got a couple of drips, but I can add a little bit more color just by adding that pencil in and start to build these up. Now I should probably also wait for this to dry in between, but we don't have time for that. Right, Bernadette? We don't have time. Trying to finish this up in 1 minute. We got it. All right, just to get a little bit more dark down there. Okay. And again, that's why I use watercolor paper. If you don't use that much, it's totally fine. So I'm going to show you guys what I would do. So this is, I pulled this one. And I love this. You can actually use the itty bitty branches and cut some white pieces out of there. But this is the flowing foliage set. And the reason why I grabbed these ones is because they have all these open holes. And I really, really love this because then the green can pop through the white and you would be able to see that. And I'm like, oh, that would be so pretty, right? And right, Sandy, that's where I'm like, you know what? The green is kind of calming and soothing. And I thought that that was really pretty. So if we take this, and you can see how pretty they look on a colored background. But I'll just to show you where I'm going with this is just to take this. And these are my little foam cutouts. So when you start to put these white die cuts right behind them, you're getting a similar look just by using the die cuts. And then you can pop these up and do it whatnot. So looks so, so pretty on that one. All right. So that was, I'm going to go back to my little inspiration picture. So that was my inspiration picture. And you can see you have this really, really pretty suede-ish looking background. And it was painted on the wall. And so from there, I used a blended background with the leaf clusters stamps and got this beautiful front. And then using the same kind of idea, using the washi tape set, and we created stamps out of dies by stamping them using fun foam. And this is just that white embossing powder right on there. And then this is clear embossing powder, so you can kind of see the difference where this is a little bit muted. And then this is using the watercolor pencils really fast. I mean, I did that in 1 minute and you get this gorgeous texture. I agree. It does look like a meadow. And then by adding those white die cuts on there, same thing. I'm going to cut this down. I'm going to cut that little panel down and give it a border and give it a frame. But then we have those pieces on there. So I hope that this inspired you to take out your materials, take a look at other things. to see what you have and to create some backgrounds. Look around you for inspiration. Have those, pictures on the phone, and just walk around and think about what is around you and what can inspire you. So thank you all so much. I really appreciate you spending the time here. And thank you so much, Bernadette. Let's show Bernadette some love. Bernadette was behind the badge today. Thank you. Who's now going to be on her own crafting journey, looking at using some washi tape today. All right. I will see you guys soon. Have a fabulous day. And thank you so much for taking the time out to spend some time with Altenew and letting Altenew craft your life. Thank you.